After all, hope you're well. I'm led to believe that this week marks International Pipe Week, so happy Pipe Week to all. Today, currently smoking my Radici Silk Cut Liverpool, and in it I'm smoking some Samuel Gallif St James Flick. I haven't had this blend for a while actually, partly because the tin I got, although many Samuel Gallif blends are pretty wet, this tin I got was really wet to the point where it takes a good half hour, 45 minutes for it to dry. And unless I remember, right, I'm going to do this and I take that out to dry, I just won't have it because it takes so long. But it's a really good vapour, really good blend. It's actually a blend that I was looking through my cellar last night, which is still very small comparative to ours, but I'm trying to improve on it. And this was a blend which I don't have. I've got maybe, I'd like to think, 2.5 ounces worth, maybe, in a mason jar, which I use to just smoke through. Apart from that, I don't have anything in the cellar. So I think over the next few weeks, months, I try and maybe get a few tins of that put away. Because this is a blend which I can imagine ages extremely well. Very well, in fact, actually. Got a little delivery today. One of them is the Dr. Pearl Junior filters. I'm pretty low on the ones I currently use. Currently I use Bullet System, but I buy whatever's on offer cheapest. And the Dr. Pearl ones are also really good. The two I use are the Blitz and Dr. Pearl. I don't use any others. I've tried a few, but they're the two brands I like and get on with. So I got that, and something I got, put that down, was, if I can find it, a refill of Jermaine's Special IKEA Flick. Currently they've got some in stock on GQ Tobaccos. Broken up now, but they actually came in some pretty good flakes again. A lot more like IKEA than normal, not a bad thing. But then again, it's pure luck with Special IKEA Flake. You can end up getting a bag which is almost entirely like IKEA, or you get a pouch which is pretty much entirely Virginia. It is one of those things where it is kind of luck of the draw how much like you can get based on the way it's pressed. If you were to buy a 500 gram bag, it would be perfect because you would have some bits more, some bits less like here distributed. Whereas because that was a 50 gram pouch, they obviously have the bag and then they take out 50 grams. It can be hit or miss how much you get. But at the end of the day, it's a fantastic blend. One of my favourites, if not, I think my favourite IKEA Balkan blend. Yeah, it's just a fantastic blend. Really liking these jars currently. Nice size. Again, in that, this is 2 ounces of plum pudding. Fits in there nicely. I've had maybe 2 or 3 bowls of it. Again, really liking that blend so far. I think that's a winner for me. That will be one that I'm sure I'll be stocking up on. Slightly more expensive than other American blends. I think that's kind of like $16. But then again, like I said before, it is a 2 ounce tin. And I do like that cut. I used to, kind of, it's a bit weird last few weeks, I used to always be a flake person. But recently I've been really liking like a crumble cake cuts. Still not so much a fan of ribbon. I am smoking more blends which are ribbon cut. Coming to enjoy them more, but I still prefer a flake as my tobacco cut of choice. Been a busy few days again. It's been working, doing an order of ashtrays just now for a customer. I make briar ashtrays actually. Again, make ashtrays by hand out of a lot of wood. That is something which I'm looking really excited to get the lathe. Is the different styles of ashtrays I'll be able to do. And more affordable ashtrays. The ashtrays I make are affordable because at the end of the day they're classed as a luxury product. But because on the lathe it takes a fraction of the time to make an ashtray, the cost of my ashtrays will come down. But you can see here, this is ashtray block, a big old briar block. And you can see here, I leave the live edge plateau on the blocks, on the ashtrays. And what we got is it's cleaned up using a wire bristle brush, and I use a tool to get in and clean off all the bark, and then I get polish, button polish, and I polish up to bit a nice shine, nice golden brown colour. So working on those currently. Order of 5 ashtrays. Because they're all done entirely by hand, they do take a bit of extra time to where if you were to say turn an ashtray on a lathe, fair enough, you couldn't turn really a briar ashtray unless you, maybe if you got a massive briar bottle you could turn it, but you couldn't turn an ashtray out of a briar block because the way the blocks are shaped, I just don't think really possible. But yeah, so busy week, but exciting. Workshops coming along. Bandsaw is fantastic. I mean, for cutting and trimming down the ashtray blocks, it's absolute saviour. Cutting those blocks by hand, I can tell you, tiring. Cutting briar by hand, especially, or any hardwood, because there's a few other products I make out of hardwood, and cutting it by hand was difficult, but briar, being how dense it is, was the worst. But the bandsaw is just, it's absolute magic. I mean, I can cut, for example, for my briar cigar rests, I mean, I can now cut them up on the bandsaw in like 15 seconds. Obviously to size, and then I've got to do a lot of work after that. But I mean, to rough cut them to shape and size, 15 seconds. Whereas the hand cut them prior to that, a good 5 minutes of solid cutting with a saw. And even then, you can never really cut with a handsaw a perfectly straight line. And then as a result of that, you would probably spend maybe 25 minutes hand sanding it to make it back to flush. So the bandsaw is saving a lot of time, and it's allowing me to have much more precise cuts, especially talking about the ashtray blocks. Christ, they take an absolute age to cut by hand. So the bandsaw, again, slices right through them. Fantastic. Lathe wise, from the last time I talked about the lathe I'm getting, it's changed. A lot of you will know London Calling Simon, if not probably my subscribers, all of you. He's recently got a Record Power lathe, fantastic lathe they are, great brand. That was the brand that I was going for, was Record Power, but a very entry level lathe compared to Simon's. But I was looking on Axminster the other day, and I came across a variable speed lathe, which means you can just change the RPM of the lathe by a little knob straight away. And I thought the only Axminster lathe which had that feature was £600. Now, I am pretty confident I would have saw this lathe before, so I'm assuming it recently came back in stock, because the lathe is £400, that is. So I don't know what the dollars, maybe like $600, $550. Yeah, actually no, not 600, probably $550. Because the lathe I was originally going to get was $360. So for an extra £40 increase to get a variable speed lathe, it is very, very well priced. Like I said, because you have a lathe, you then have the chucks, and you have you have loads of different sets of jaws and chisels and different bits and bobs. If you're spending X amount on the lathe, you aren't really getting a lathe for that money, in the sense that yes, you can have a lathe, but you can't actually do anything on the lathe because you don't have any of the key components. I mean, you have a drill chuck, senators, jaws, again, multiple sets of jaws depending on what you're doing. Then you have the chuck and chisels. So you're talking, on top of the lathe, you're talking a few £100 in accessories. But to me, they aren't almost accessories, they are key components of the lathe, because without those, you can't actually function it. So, yeah, so point of Simon is that that is the lathe that I believe he used for the first few years of his pipe making journey before he upgraded. And I was in contact with him and he said it was a fantastic lathe, and he would highly recommend going for the variable speed, which is what I'm going for. I always knew that was better, but I just thought it was up my price range. I'm shocked it was actually there. I'm pretty confident it must have been recently added back in stock, because again, I spent hours and hours I've spent over the last few months researching lathes. I feel like I would be a bit of an idiot if I didn't see it. But yeah, so excited to get that. Hopefully get that in the next few weeks actually. We're going to try and get this order of ashtrays finished. Get the money for that, and then pretty much take all the profit, and if you always like, take all the money from the ashtrays and invest it in the lathe. Two lathes I'm looking at. One's 400, one's 470. 470 one is a freestanding lathe, a bit of a beast if I'm being honest. It's absolutely massive. It would just fit in my workshop, but if you've seen my previous video of a quick peek at the workshop, it's not massive at all. It's a very small workshop, it's very compact. It's perfect for what I do. I do a lot of woodworking, but it's a lot of it's hand carved and hand by hand. That I do plan on doing a bit of cabinetry work, small cabinetry, small cabinets, but not a massive. So for example, I don't need a table saw or I don't need to cut massive sheets of wood. So this size workshop is perfect for me. Whereas if I got the freestanding lathe, it would take up a good chunk of the workshop. There is space for it, but on this workbench, just to the left, I won't turn the camera because it's an absolute mess. Where the bandsaw currently is temporarily, because the lathe will go there and the bandsaw will go over to my right, which I'm building a kind of secondary workbench, as I mentioned before, where I'll have a designated sanding and finishing station, and then a designated bandsaw station, and then also I'm building a pipe cabinet and a tobacco storage. So if I end up going for the larger lathe, it would take up some of that space to where I couldn't, it would actually take up all that space to where I couldn't have the designated bandsaw station and sand station on the right, but I could keep the bandsaw exactly where it is just now and have a little sander next to it, and then keep this bit as kind of a finishing bit. Only downside to this is I do like having a designated area to smoke. I have this nice leather mat, kind of breaks up the space, keep my work off it. But yeah, I just have to see. I think I am leaning more towards just the standard bench top. I say standard, it isn't a base, it isn't it. Because I'm now pretty much set on getting the variable speed, it isn't any more classed as entry level. It's still entry level lathe, but because it's a variable speed, it is a few steps up from a basic lathe. Actually, quite a few steps up from certain brands. But yeah, so a lot of thinking to do over the next few weeks. I already pretty much know what parts I'm getting, so it's just about getting the finances in place for it, to purchase it, and then get it all sorted. The difference between the freestanding one too is that the freestanding one I think weighs 98 kg, whereas the benchtop one weighs 40. So a big difference in weight, massive difference. I don't know, for the American viewers, international, I don't know what it is in pounds, but it's heavy anyway, definitely heavy. So yeah, interesting things happening. A lot of exciting things coming in the future, very close future actually. Yeah, hope everyone has a good pipe week. Hope you're smoking your favourite blends. I'm trying to work out what blends I'll have this week. I'm definitely going to have some Rich Dark Flake. Maybe some Scottish Autumn Flake. That's sadly is a favourite of mine now. I've smoked my way through a whole ton of that. It's just fantastic. But as many of you know, they have discontinued that blend, so I've only got, I think I've got 3, not even that. I've got 2 tins in the cellar, that's it. So I have to be very cautious for that. And hopefully some OGS or like Golden Slice will arrive this week. It's a blend that we wanted to try for a long time. So I am excited for that. I see it's coming up to 18 minutes. I've been on for a while, talking probably a lot of rubbish. So I will leave you there. Hope you've enjoyed that chat. Again, lots of exciting things coming hopefully in the next few weeks. And I will catch you in the next one.